During high school, language learning was never really the biggest priority for me. In fact, the typical Australian foreign language class resembled something a bit more like this.
As for the first lesson, je vous déplaise. Je vous déplaise.
What the heck is this, sir? Boring and completely useless. Now listen here, you little prick. Language is a window to the world. Believe me when I say you'll change your mind one day. Unlikely. I'm just here for the free croissant. Ooh! But now I'm a changed man, and from what started as just a desire to say simple phrases like I'll be a chang 2 ขวดครับ หรือผัดไทยไก่เท่าไหร่ครับ has now eventuated into something a lot more than that. So today I wanted to share how learning Thai changed me as a person, especially as someone who didn't know any other language other than English up until the age of 18.
1. Learning Thai forced me outside my own comfort zone.
Forcing myself to communicate in the Thai language, especially when I was at a really low level, sometimes made me feel vulnerable, and sometimes it made me feel weak when I couldn't understand what people were saying. But ultimately, it made me a whole lot stronger and gave me opportunities that I never would have been able to have. And because half the time you have no idea what people are trying to ask you, you just end up saying yes to everything, which is what me and one of YouTube's biggest channels calls the yes theory. ไอ้พอดีอยากมาเที่ยวบ้านพอไหม Yes. ไอ้พอดีคืนนี้อยากไปกินเบียร์กันไหม Yes. ไอ้พอดีซุปกัญชาไหม Yes. ไอ้พอดีอยากไปกินยาป้ากันไหม I'm good. ไอ้พอดีวันนี้อยากไปกินกาแฟที่ Starbucks ไหม This yes theory, I'm out of here. It's interesting, as humans naturally we try to avoid uncomfortable situations, whether it may be public speaking, using a second language, or reading the newspaper on the toilet. But in actual fact, it is in these situations where we usually learn the most, meet the most interesting people, and create some of our fondest memories.
2. Learning Thai gave me a greater sense of empathy.
Believe it or not, I like to go to parties, and usually at those parties, I like to enjoy a couple of beers.
Late night, come home, work sucks, I know.
But have you ever been to a party where the language spoken at that party is not your first language? Or have you ever seen someone else at that party who does not speak the language spoken at the party? Dude, can you stop using the word party? Often, that person feels excluded, they feel left out of conversation, and they find it hard to make friends. And after experiencing that exact same situation yourself, it gives you a greater appreciation and empathy for how others may be feeling, and gives you a greater desire to want to include them, whether it may be at a party, a workplace, or just in general life. Language learning builds empathy.
3. It made me not really care what other people think of me.
When I was in high school, one of my favorite subjects I ever studied was drama because it made me not give a crap what other people think of me. For me, learning Thai gave me the exact same feeling, and although at the start, sometimes when people laughed at my pronunciation, it made me feel bad, ultimately I just stopped caring what other people thought. It's interesting, when I first started doing YouTube about a year ago, maybe I hadn't watched YouTube enough because I never really expected some of the comments that I sometimes get. Go and get a life, man. Me? Oh, for fuck's sake, you speak their language. Wow, make a video. So amazing. Yes, their language. This dude wakes up smiling. He's so pleased with himself. Can't stop smiling. Make it stop. Make it stop. But much like when I was learning Thai, you learn not to care what other people think of you. And to be honest, that's the best piece of advice I can give for any person starting a new language. So these were the 3 ways that learning Thai changed my life. I kind of avoided that whole point of language gives you a greater insight to the other person's culture because I feel like everyone watching here probably already knows that. Anyway, they were my 3 points. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Sawadee krap.